Hi everyone, my name is Ariella, founder of Bene Body. I'm a licensed physical therapist working mainly with muscle and skeletal type injuries, and I work a lot in the performing arts community. Something that I see quite often are bunions. So we're going to go over 4 different exercises that I like to recommend to my patients. So let's get started. So the first exercise is a stretch for the extensor muscles of the big toe. A lot of times with bunions, the big toe extensor will be super tight. So something that's really great to do to help align, to release that tension and to align the big toe. You're going to align the big toe with the inner part of the foot, or the first ray, or metatarsal as we call it. So you want the big toe to be a little bit farther out than the inner part of your foot. You're going to come down and find an area of tension, and a lot of times this area will be pretty tight. So once you find like a trigger point, you're going to just press into that point, and you can flex and extend the big toe, trying to release that point. Once that point feels like it's less intense, then we could go on to stretching that extensor muscle. So keeping that toe a little bit wider than the inner part of your foot, you're going to just flex it as far as you can comfortably. You don't want to go into any type of pain, so if you feel pain, then back off. And then you're just going to hold that for maybe like 30 seconds. The next exercise is, I call it the toe piano. You're going to put a rubber band between your big toes, and you want to bring the rubber band down to the base of the big toe. So let's just so you can see that there. So the rubber band is at the base of the big toe, and you're going to pull on that rubber band so that your big toes are in line with the inner part of your foot. Then you're going to lift up the toes. You want to make sure that the ball of your foot is still pressing in the ground evenly, and that the heels are also pressing into the ground. Keeping your toes lifted, you're just going to try to tap the big toes to the ground, keeping the little toes up, and then tap the little toes to the ground, keeping the big toes up. And then you can hold this to make it more challenging. Hold it for 5 seconds, and then come back up, and then hold the other little toes on the ground for 5 seconds, keeping the big toes up. This is a really great strengthening exercise for the intrinsic muscles of your foot, or basically the muscles that originate in the foot. You should feel this a lot in the arch and also like between the metatarsals of the foot. Next exercise is like a resistance strengthening type exercise as well. So you're going to basically try to keep that big toe aligned. So you want to bring that big toe in line with the middle part of your foot, and you're going to resist lower down the first ray. When you feel a bone, you're going to kind of push this way, and you want to try to keep that bone like pushing into your finger, so you're resisting your push that way. It's a subtle exercise. And then with your second finger, you're going to try to push the big toe in, but you don't let your big toe move, so it has to stay there, resisting your finger. And this is strengthening the abductor hallucis, which is basically the muscle that goes along the arch of your foot and keeps that big toe pulling outward. So it's strengthening that, as well as strengthening the adductor hallucis, or the muscle that kind of brings that first ray in. So yeah, you're resisting these two, and also the intrinsic muscles in here. Last exercise is like a doming exercise. So basically, for this one, you're going to lift up your toes and keep your heel and the ball of your foot on the ground. You lift up your toes because that helps create this arch in your foot. You want to keep that arch, and then just let your toes relax on the ground without gripping the floor. And still maintaining that arch, you're going to just press evenly into the ball of your foot. So that means you need to put pressure into the first like the inner ball of your foot or the first toe, the big toe, as well as the outer ball of your foot. So keeping even pressure, you're just going to lift up, maintaining that arch. So you see that my arch never flattens here. And you should feel that strengthening in the arch. So that's all my exercises that I have for you for today. But if you have any questions about these exercises, of course you don't want to do anything to pain. So if you feel any pain, just back off. But you should be able to do this to some point of fatigue. So if you want to feel your muscles working, take a break for a couple seconds and then do some more reps. And if you do this daily, this will be really helpful for aligning and strengthening your foot and hopefully decreasing some of your bunion pain.